Yes, people. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to TKS family. Um, I just want to do a quick reaction video based off of what we've seen recently the past couple of days since you know, the World Cup qualifications ended with England winning 7 out of 7 on the bounce. TT has killed it. He's absolutely killed it. But what more can you say? You expect a team of players like what England has got to sort of deliver, the goods for their country. But when you look at everything else that comes after that, people just trying to ruin you know, the old mood for everyone. Everyone's got their own agendas. Everyone has got to make some peas or trying to make some money somewhere for clickbait, for traffic, for tractions, onto their articles, newspaper articles, or whatever you want to call it. So you probably know what I'm talking about here. Recently, the most recent one would have been, as we've seen here, um, about Jude Bellingham, and Ian Wright sent out a tweet. You know, I'm not even gonna go through all of it. I'm not even gonna read the tweet, but you must have seen it. You all must have seen it. You know what exactly I'm talking about. I don't wanna spend more time going over and over. But we all know what Ian Wright was talking about. Was trying to say here. People like Craig Hope. I don't know what his issue is with Jude because he seems so obsessed with Jude. Absolutely obsessed with Jude. Like literally, it's like almost somebody's paying him to say, "Go after Jude so I can get into the England squad." It feels like that. It almost feels like another player or a couple of players are paying him, paying the Daily Mail to say, "Go after Jude Bellingham," because we've tried with Marcus Rashford. Thomas Tuchel is not going to budge. He loves him. Um, he was the first player called when he got a job. Um, they failed on Marcus Rashford, and now they're going after Jude for the simple fact that they can't get access to Real Madrid. They can't get interviews. They can't get no press with him. His mom and dad have shielded him away from the UK press, from some section of the UK press. I'm not gonna say the whole UK media is it's a cesspit, but there is a certain section of the UK media, the UK press, who are absolutely a cesspool of hate, where they'll build you up, they'll try and build you up, and then once you don't give them back what they want, they'll knock you down. But Jude has not asked for anything from the UK, from this press. So it's not they're not entitled to anything from him. He doesn't owe them anything. He doesn't owe the media, the UK media, anything. If anything, the UK media owes him everything. Every applaud, every planet should be going towards what he's done at his age. He's only 22, man. When the guy came on the scene, he did bits. He moved from Birmingham. He rejected Manchester United and Liverpool. If he was playing for Manchester United and Liverpool, they would still go after him. You know, but it would have been easier for them to go after players like that because we've seen it with Marcus Rashford, we've seen him with Raheem Sterling, we've seen it with so many other, you know, um, POCs or black players, English black players. So, what more can a player has to do? What do they have to do, to feel like they deserve the same respect as their fellow white English counterpart on the pitch, on and off the pitch? Because Jude, over the past couple of seasons for England or whatever, he's been the best player. Harry Kane's got the goals, but Jude Bellingham make things happen. And even the last game, he passed the ball to Rashford before Rashford assisted Harry Kane. Even that whole game, they were struggling until Rashford came on and everything changed. And Jude was part of it. But Craig Hope just made up some bullshit about throwing his arms up or whatever. But when you go back, if we go back, remember when Rooney first burst into the scene and he was doing beats and beats and beats, and he was doing tantrums, he was doing this, he was doing X, Y, Z. You know what the press used to tell us? They used to say it's passion. They said Rooney is passionate when he used to throw his arms around, with Fergie or other people. So, oh, he's passionate. He's a passionate Englishman. That's what it's all about. But then, at the same age now, Jude Bellingham allegedly did it. They go, oh, it's petulant behavior, character, whatever you want to call it. He's too arrogant, you know. And all of this stem from him scoring a goal for England and celebrating by just saying, who else? All he did was this. Who else can score that kind of goal? Which, in my head, I'm thinking Michael Owen has said worse than Jude Bellingham when he was playing for England. Michael Owen did worse. Michael Owen, he told people, his teammate, that he was better than them. He should be playing ahead of them. Michael Owen said it. So Michael Owen disrespected his teammate more than Jude Bellingham, the alleged disrespect they're trying to agenda they're trying to build. Teddy Sheringham did worse to Andy Cole. We're just talking about characters here. We're not talking about football. We're talking about how people hold themselves. Not the football abilities when they're on the pitch. Just the behaviors that they're trying to portray on Jude Bellingham or Marcus Rashford or Raheem Sterling or the next or Paul Lebby Morgan, Gibbs White or Rogers, or you name it. But Michael Owen actually said to his fellow strikers who were older than him, saying, I should be playing ahead of you because I'm better than them. And what did they call that? A confident man. He believed in his ability. He believed in himself. He can do it. So why not? So if Jude is saying, who else? And you get triggered by words like that after scoring a fantastic goal, all of you sat there crying about it. Like, literally, come on. These are... How old are you, man? How old are you lot? Are you trying to make a meal out of it? Trying to make sure it doesn't go to the World Cup. Okay, if it doesn't go to this World Cup, you might go to the next one. But I guarantee you, the people they're trying to fight for them to jump into that team, they're not as good as Jude Bellingham. Jack Grealish is not good enough. He is good, but why? They all of them are only playing well now because of the World Cup. Because everyone wants to go to the World Cup. Jack Grealish didn't bother to leave Man City. He was happy to sit on the bench for Man City when there was no World Cup coming. He was happy. He was chilling. He was out there drinking, getting drunk, getting caught with, outside pubs or nightclubs. He didn't give a shit. Phil Foden was going to concerts, was going to carnivals, was going to festivals when there was no World Cup. But guess who get the hate? Who caught the hate for it? Marcus Rashford. Again, you can see it, up to the point where somebody from Talksport claimed Marcus should ditch his supercars. He should be driving a Mercedes or Range Rover, and he went as far as saying Marcus should behave like the white guy that play golf. So a section of this media in this UK is rotten, is systemic, it's covert racism. They don't want to accept it. They would never accept it. They will never say yes. But you got people like Dean Saunders telling a football player who's come from nothing to made him, made something out of it, and one of the biggest stars to come out of England, telling him, ditch your Rolls Royce, ditch blah blah blah. You can drive a Mercedes, a C class or S class, and a Range Rover, blah blah blah. Who the hell are you to tell him what to drive? You know, and start acting like Scottish Scheffler, the white guy that played golf. You telling a black kid, a black guy, to act like a white man, and you telling me that's not racism? What else do you? What else would you call it? But anyway, they'll never accept it. And you got people like Simon Jordan. Sometimes it's quite fair, it's quite straightforward. Sometimes it doesn't sit on the fence. You see that it's black, it's not black or white with him, you know. But you try and defend that side of the coin, to say, oh no, it's nothing to do with the skin color. But come on, we've all seen it. When they missed the penalties in the Euros, the three guys that missed the penalties, they got pelters, mate. Bear in mind, Hurricane missed the penalty. It's like almost the CIA wiped that off their hard drives. It's like MI5, MI6 wiped Hurricane's penalty miss off the system completely. No one talks about it. No one in the media talks about it. Nobody mentions it. But when those three guys, Rashford, Sancho, and Saka, missed that penalty, bro, the whole of England, it's like racism. It's like racism reborn. I mean, most of it comes from um, outside of the UK, but those people are only mirroring what the home fans will do to their own players, and we've seen it in club football, like in Manchester, for an example. I can tell you now, locals I've heard, I've been to football matches. I've heard people calling Marcus Rashford names that they wouldn't call other people. Other people who've been at the club for 3 years, they've only scored one goal, but they celebrated more than the other guy. So with Jude, you can see in this the picture that you can see there, you've got Gary Neville, Jamie Carragher, Wayne Rooney, Roy Keane, and Wrighty. And if you look at Rooney's face, Roy Keane's face, Carragher's gesture there, Roy Keane's face, eyes points down. Rooney's looking down. They can't even look directly. Only Gary tries to try that. They couldn't even look at him directly when he was talking. Kara had to do something with his arm. If you're a body language expert, you know exactly what I'm talking about there. I'm not saying it's guilt, but on those five guys sitting there, right? You've got one guy who defended a racist at his club, Liverpool, right? When Suarez racially abused Patrice Evra, right? You've got another guy, Roy Keane, who said he hated seeing Marcus Rashford smiling on the pitch. He shouldn't be smiling. Yo, when did that become a crime? Right? Roy Keane said that about Marcus Rashford. He hated Marcus Rashford. He hated seeing Marcus Rashford smiling. Like, look at him. The video is there. I'm not gonna pull the video. I'm just gonna leave that. And you've got Gary Neville, who Raheem Sterling ran to for support when he got abused, and Gary never said a word. And this happened years ago. Raheem Sterling went to him and said, "Mate, Gaffer, can you help me? I don't think whatever these people are saying about me on the press is true. I don't believe it's true. They're going after me. They talking about how dirty my car is, how this, or what I've bought for my mom, or they're making up stories about me." Instead, Gary Neville turned around and said, "Well, it's nothing to do with your skin color. It's just to do with your ability on the pitch. What has that got to do with this car being dirty?" And only now Gary Neville is mentioning it on on their show. It never came out. He never once said it. In fact, they supported it. They let it carry on, like, because that's where they get their clicks from. Gary said that today or wherever, that Raheem came to him for help. Raheem Sterling came to him for support. and now he regretted not paying attention to what Sterling was saying to him. And also you have Gary Neville here, who I believe, I can't prove it yet. I do have the proof for some reason, that his team was responsible for that banner that was displayed at Spurs, between Manchester United and Spurs, the away game. The guy that displayed that banner, right, that abused Marcus Rashford or whatever the message was in that banner, worked for one of Gary Neville's companies, or still works for them. He's an architect, whatever you want to call it. So you don't tell me, connect the joint, mate. You can see it. And now I think what they've done, the only person that I've seen there that's been supportive of these players has been outspoken for these players. Oh, let me go to Wayne Rooney. Right, they're all saying this now. Wayne Rooney, right? I wouldn't say he's the exception because he was not well behaved at all as a player. If we're looking at behaviors now, he wasn't well behaved. He was out there partying. He was out there, according to people, shagging grannies. But he was still loved by everyone for those behaviors. He was out there drinking. He was getting caught in people's couches, But there was no issue with Wayne Rooney. Crazy, right? And then after all this, none of them. I mean, let me bring in Pogba. Roy Keane slaughtered Pogba. Jimmy Carragher slaughtered Pogba. This guy, Gary Neville, slaughtered Pogba. They were all calling these players names, man. But you never hear anything else about, the other dudes that played alongside them. It's a madness. But anyway, Rooney, Carragher, Neville, Roy Keane didn't say a single word when Dean Saunders came out and went after Marcus Rashford for his cars, for his lifestyle. And all of a sudden, Gary had the audacity to mention that Raheem came to him for support and he didn't pay attention to that. It's disgraceful. And don't tell me, it's not all about them looking after their own interest. Because he knew the reason why he probably didn't defend Raheem Sterling. He knew Raheem Sterling was on his way out of the England team. He wasn't going to play any more part. So it's absolutely insignificant for him to play any role in supporting him. Right? And you can see it. If it doesn't benefit them, they won't support you, they won't help you. And Ian Wright has been the only consistent guy to say, you know what? Because the thing with Ian Wright, he suffered the same thing. The thing with Wright, he suffered the same thing. He's seen it all as a player. They've called him names. He went through it, and now that is he's got two sons that played football, or one of them is still playing in America. His grandkids probably gonna play football as well. Well, yeah, he's actually playing football. One of them is playing in Germany. One of his grandkids. So they moved him away from the UK, send him away because to make sure again to protect people like that from the UK press. And you can see why. But Wright suffered the same thing that these boys are going through. And he's the only one that's consistently spoken up for them. Said things, he's the only one that showed that whatever these guys are going through, it's not a lie. They're not making things up. He said he texted Jude Bellingham before the game and said, listen, hold on, mate. So I think he probably seen Righty probably seen the headline, or he probably had news story that they were gonna go for him no matter how he played in that game. So he said he texted Jude before the game and said, "Listen, mate, get ready, it's coming." And Jude messaged back, "What's coming?" It's like, "Just wait, you'll see the hurricane, but I've got your back. I'll defend you." So these people, they know what's going on in the media. They know they see things, they hear things, they read things. They've got friends in every possible sector or sections of the media. They communicate with each other. So writing must have seen things that made him texted Jude to say, he's coming, mate. Be careful." But he's the only one that's consistently defended these guys. He defended Marcus Rashford, he defended Jude Bellingham, Raheem Sterling, and so many others. Eze, Harry Maguire, he defended him, you know. But you could see it. You could see it, like people literally not want to accept or believe that a certain section. We're not saying everyone. We're not saying everyone in the English press who is white goes after these boys because of their race. But we know there's systemic racism in this press, in this media, in everything that they write. And to the point, like I said to you before, I think I've said it quite a few times now, where I was guilty. I was one of those people that were groomed to hate these guys without actually seeing, you know, putting myself in their shoes. But as soon as I realized, oh, hold on a minute, they're talking about his clothes, they're talking about his cars, they're talking about his watches, his cars, you know, his sunglasses, his durag, his bandana. I start thinking, this is not football. They're not talking about his football, right? Because I know people that only talks about Marcus Rashford when they say, "Oh, he thinks he's a rapper." But these same people listen to rap only. So are you telling me if Rashford thought he was a rapper, that would be a bad thing for you or for him? Or are you looking at rap as a bad thing for a black kid, which is part of his culture? He shouldn't dress like the way he dresses. He shouldn't wear chains, expensive watches. Shouldn't be driving nice cars. I've heard it all. I've seen people face to face. So I'm about to challenge people to the point that I'm defending now every single one of them the same way. I was like, you know what? I allow myself for people like Gary Neville, Roy Keane, because what? They were club legends. Respect them. I believe in whatever they said. I believe, oh yeah, they're saying the truth, man. They're saying the truth. Look at him, he's smiling too much on the pitch. Why is he smiling? Or why is he shaking hands with people? I was so fucked up with that shit. Now looking back, I'm thinking, what the hell? Why can't he smile? Why can't he wear a chain? Why can't he drive a nice car? Why can't he? If he's waking up every day his life at the age of 6 or 5 or whatever, training football, trying to become a footballer, bettering himself, his mom and dad taking him to football, XYZ every single day, and now you're telling me he's not entitled to any of that. Hey, these people, man, you can't win. You can't win. But again, I always look at it, this is a reflection of their own. Even though they were pro footballers, they were successful footballers, some of them. But because now they're looking at their own kids, none of their kids has made it to the level some of these local kids in Manchester or Liverpool or wherever has gone on to make it. And when you look at the industry, the footballing industry now, the sport, the game, the only successful tarts in football in the Premier League or whatever championship are the black footballers that, you know, people like Emileski, you look at their kids, they're excelling. Ian Wright. I could go on and name a few more. Ashley Young. So these kids, these players, ex-players, they've managed to get their kids to a level where, you know, follow their footsteps. You know, they take pride in that, and that's what we do as a race, really. Because growing up, your mom or dad will want you to become a doctor because they're doctors or engineers or you name it. They want to be anything in the industry that brings pride to them. So whatever you do, you try to make sure your kid follow the same footsteps or takes after you and then become more successful than you. Honestly, and but you look at these guys, Gary Neville's kids, hit or miss. Carragher's son is playing for Preston, and is he playing for Cyprus? For his as a national team, I think he plays for Cyprus. He's not even playing for England. Is he Carragher or somebody else? And Rooney's kid is on the verge of cracking the Premier League. Hopefully, we get to see another Rooney. Roy Keane, you know, he's got nobody representing him in the game anymore apart from himself, apart from his legacy. Paul Scholes, I'm surprised he wasn't in this episode, but he clearly, is another one that he found. He said some stuff about again citing Marcus Rashford. He found it really hard, or he struggled to feel sorry for him, whatever he was going through. And but anyway, these guys, they've said so much about these players, all because he did this to them after scoring that goal. And he did that after scoring that goal. Look at that goal, bro. Look at it. Look at that. After scoring that goal, and he said, who else? Because he believed in himself. He believed he's capable. He believed he's a better player. And like I said, Michael Owen did worse to his ex-teammate who was playing for England. Rooney probably did worse than Jude or Rashford. Every player now they're saying, in fact, the other thing they're running with now, Rashford is only playing well because of the World Cup. Well, which other player that's not playing well because of the World Cup? Let's talk about Jack Grealish. Let's talk about Phil Foden. Let's talk about Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire. They're all playing for the World Cup. They all wants to go. Let's talk about. I mean, Rice has been consistent. Playing well for us now. But the rest of them, I don't see anyone that's actually said from Monday to Tuesday, 365 days a year, Monday to Friday, Monday to Saturday, Monday to Sunday, 365 days a year. I'm going to crack every single day without having a bad day but every single player wants to go to the World Cup. They're going to play well. But this guy, the only guy they have an issue with right now is Jude Bellingham because they don't want him to go to the World Cup. They want to take somebody else who's probably paid them enough to say write as much as you can. Say bad things about him, even though just make up stuff. Just make stuff up. They'll believe you in the media. But the good thing now is the people are also the media because when you go on X, the things you say they're coming for. Craig Hope has now switched off his comment, his reply section. He switched off everything because of the abuse he's getting, even though he's directed his abuse towards Jude Bellingham. He's got people believing that Jude is arrogant. He's got people believing that Jude is uppity. Jude is petulant. He's got some of this racist fan base, this section of fan base that only go after people, that only look after you when you've got something to gain from you, when you score a goal for them. But even after scoring this goal, they still came for him. Look at that goal. Yeah, look at that. There are a few players that scored those goals. Scott McTominay recently. Let's talk about him. Shout out to Scott McTominay. He smashed it. So a few players, even Scott McTominay celebration. Like, yeah, I did it. Yeah, I'm capable. Yeah, fuck the haters. So Scotty, right, he's got a similar goal or even a better goal than Jude, and he celebrated the way he should because he deserved it. And well taken goal. Rooney's got the same goal, did the celebration. Ronaldo, even did worse, you know. But the, only the English media will hate their own or will start an agenda against their own. And it goes back to club football. Only local people will disown their own. In Marcus Rashford, in the case of Manchester United, only the locals that go after him, got him out of his club, even though he's a fan of Manchester United as well. He grew up playing for the club, he grew up supporting the club. They ran him out of Manchester. And this is the local, and this is why I said to you guys, top Reds, I do not F with you guys. Because I know some of you personally, I know you because I know the way you talk as well. I've seen you, the way you go after people. So, sorry, not sorry, F you. But after scoring that goal, the guy celebrated. This is why they hated him. This is why they still hate him. They're saying he's arrogant. They're saying he shouldn't have said what he said. Who else? Like, what do you mean? How old are you? You know, this so there's so many insecure people, insecure men, football going men who pretend to be men. They'll tell you, oh, I'm a man, that's why I play football, that's why I support football. But you're allowing something like that to trigger you, to the point that it exposes your racism. So you watch football because you're a man. You play football because you claim to be a man. You do all of those things to paint a picture that you're strong bloke, you're a strong man, you're a lad, you're a geezer, whatever you want to call it. But then somebody just saying, who else triggered the fuck out of you? Triggered you. That man, you're an insecure little bald cider drinking, you name it, drunk. Man enough if you allow that to trigger you. But anyway, some players they'll call it because the players are passionate. For some, they're just arrogant. They shouldn't be doing that. They shouldn't, they should stay humble. The only players they like, Kante. Some of them still like Saka because Saka doesn't talk the way, Jude doesn't carry himself the way Jude carries himself. But they don't owe people nothing, anything. And the same thing with Jack Grealish. They don't owe people anything or Phil Foden. They let them live their life, man. But you gotta balance the criticism. You gotta stick to football. Stick to the abilities. The reproach should be based off of his ability as a footballer, not because of what he's wearing, not because of the way he speaks. Because if we go by that, like I said, Michael Owen is a typical example of the worst teammate you could have as a national teammate, because he would sit on the bench telling people he should be playing ahead of Alan Shearer. He should be playing ahead of those other people. He was giving attitude. And the next one will be probably, what's his name now? This picture. Again, Teddy Sheringham there, refusing to shake hands with. Show respect. We are talking about respect here. Craig Hope, he refused to shake hands with Andy Cole on his debut. That's our one way to make your teammate feel welcome, really welcome, right? But people like Sheringham hated the fact that people like Andy Cole, it took forever to get called up. people like Ian Wright took them forever to get a call up, and ended up scoring over 150 goals each. Over, I think Wright has got about 236 goals, and Andy Cole, you name it. You know, they all get left behind when they speak on these people. When they speak on the greatest Premier League players, they don't even mention people like him, Andy Cole. So, if we're talking about behaviors, stop going after the people that actually well behaved on the pitch, and start going after the people that feel entitled. Because here, this picture tells me Sheringham felt like he shouldn't be coming off for Andy Cole. He thought he was better than Cole, when Cole was 10 times the player he was. So I'm not gonna even. I might react to the video tomorrow for the overlap from Gary Neville and them guys. I need to check though if I'm allowed to use it. But yeah, I'll do a reaction video for it tomorrow, and let us know what you think. If you think that Craig Hope, the journalist for Daily Mail, has got an agenda on Jude, because even today alone he's tweeted over 15 times about Jude Bellingham. The past 3 days he's tweeted about 150 times. The past week 350. The articles, the endless. Trying to justify himself. He's gone to a podcast today or yesterday he's talking about the same thing. Why? You make stuff up. Whatever you accuse Jude of, it didn't happen on the game. We watched the game, we saw it. So you're losing the narrative here. Say what you want to say. Whoever paid you, it's not gonna succeed. They're not gonna succeed, because I don't want to say Jack Grealish or what's the guy at Chelsea, Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer is a quality player. Cole Palmer should be going to the World Cup when he's fit, but he's not even been playing. But I believe the person that they want to take is Jack Grealish. So that's why everyone is going after that one person they know. Will get triggered or something like that. But I hope Jude stay calm. But he doesn't change his personality. I hope he continues to be or carry himself the way he carries himself. So if they don't like it, deal with it. It's your problem. If you don't like him throwing his arms up, world-class players don't like to be taken off. Serious footballers don't like to be taken off. We've seen it. We watch football. Ronaldo doesn't want to be taken off. Messi doesn't want to be taken off. Vinny doesn't want to be taken off. Mbappe, Pedri, Rashford, Lewandowski, Yamal, Harry Kane. None of these players want to be taken off when the game is on. They don't mind killing themselves for 90 minutes, because they're so frustrated. Either they think they've not played well, they should have played more, they should have done more, to the point they're not frustrated at their teammate because they're friends. They're just frustrated. And even this picture, looking at this picture here, this could have been a case of Sheringham being frustrated with himself that it's not done well, blah blah blah. It's nothing to do with Andy Cole. But anyway, there's a whole love story behind these two anyway. Even after this game, it turns out to be there's still beef between them. But world class players don't want to be taken off. None. Are you telling me, Craig Hope, at your job now, you claim to be good at your job, and all of a sudden tell you not to write certain things, right? You're gonna stop writing them? So it doesn't even make sense, brother. It doesn't make sense. And let's hope they back off of Jude. Let's hope England takes Jude, because if they don't, England not winning the World Cup. They're not winning the World Cup. Jack Grealish, you take Jack Grealish to America, he's gonna end up in a casino. He's gonna end up in a pub. He's gonna end up in a strip club, and he's gonna try and drag the other boys with him. like what happened in Cyprus or Austria with Mason Greenwood and Phil Foden. We know Phil Foden was the architect of, those girls coming into that room. He arranged it, but he dragged Mason Greenwood, and Mason Greenwood was the one that caught the smoke. Which, you know, I'm not saying the, I'm not gonna say it's boys being boys, but that's what normally happens when they want to knock you. When they know you're a quality player, they'll find a way to undermine you. And Mason Greenwood would have been absolutely killing it for England if it wasn't for his own personal life, his personal behavior, and also, the way he carried himself in Austria. But he got kicked out of the team. Foden stayed in the team, and he's still in the team, even though he's not been playing well until now, because the World Cup is around the corner. Jack Grealish was happy to stay on the bench, right? He didn't engineer any move over the past 2 seasons until he knows there's a World Cup coming. All of a sudden, boom, I'm going to Everton. I don't care. And Rashford didn't play well. Obviously, whatever's going on in his life, we don't know. But come on now. He pushed to play. Even when he was playing, he was still scoring goals. And he went to Aston Villa, and now he's a Barca. So now they're struggling to engineer or to influence the Barcelona lifestyle. So they'll make up any story, anything they can, they'll try. But anyway, the story today is about Jude Bellingham, bro. Just lay off him. The guy is capable of winning England the World Cup, and if he doesn't go to the World Cup, adios, amigos. Because I tell you, when you step on the pitch, players like Vini, players like Ronaldo, they will look at if Bllingham was on the pitch, they'll look at, oh shit, Bllingham is on the pitch. No one is scared of Grealish. They'll look at Jude, they'll go, horror. Because they know him, they've played with him, they played against him. If they're playing Brazil, playing Portugal, playing Turkey, playing Spain, they will know Jude's quality. One way or the other, Jude will know their quality, try and unlock it. But Grealish, come on, bro. Come off it. So if they don't take him, England will not win the World Cup. They will not win the World Cup. But we'll see what happens anyway. They've planted the seed. Let's see what TT is not influenced by these things, but sometimes he's human. He's a human being too. So, like he said, not every player is gonna go to the World Cup. But if you leave out Jude Bellingham, bro, there's too much quality in the England team anyway. Every single player, every single position, is too much quality. The guys are they're blessed. But Jude is the golden boy. He's a superstar. He's a world-class player. If you don't take him, goodbye. Anyway, well, let us know what you think in the comment section. Let us know what you think TT will do coming March. I think the next international break is in March before America. We'll be staying up to watch some of these games. But let us know what you think anyway. Thanks for watching again. Peace out.